multi-step equation. We're going to go ahead and solve it. Good news is there's nothing new in how we solve these. We're still going to be doing the same things we did yesterday. It's just now we had more than one step. So what we do here is we need to get rid of one of these things. And I can say I have 11 times x minus 4. And you can think about SADMAP, but the way I think of it is which one of these is closer to the x? Well, obviously 11 is closer to the x because it's being multiplied together. And so I think in PEMDAS, they're closer, because I would do this first, and closer friends are harder to get rid of. Okay? Another way to think of this is if I were to plug a number in for x, okay? Let's think about building a pizza. So we've got our dough for our pizza. And the first thing I'm going to do, if I was plugging a number in for x, so I've got 11x minus 4. If I plugged a number in for x, the first thing I would do is multiply. So let's think of that as being my sauce on my pizza. My sauce is multiplying. And then the next thing I would do if I was following the order of operations over here is that I would subtract 4. So we can kind of think of our cheese as being our subtraction. Now, if I wanted to undo this pizza to try to get my variable by itself, is it easier to take off the cheese or the sauce? And obviously it's easier to take off the very top thing, so it's easier to take off the cheese. So the cheese is going to be my subtraction because that's what I would have done last if I was following the order of operations. So I'm going to get rid of my subtraction first. I'm going to add 4 to each side. And so now when I add 4 to each side, those 4's cancel out and I get 11x equals 33. Now I've gotten my cheese off, all that's left of my sauce of my multiplication. The way I get rid of my multiplication is to divide by 11, and then the 11's cancel out, and I get x equals 3. Hopefully not too confusing. What you do is you think about if I plugged a number in for x, what would I do? Build your pizza, and then take apart your pizza in the reverse order that you built it. Take the top thing off first. Now, you can always check your answer by plugging it back into the original equation. So I'm going to plug 3 in for x and see if 11 times 3 minus 4 is 29. And here's exactly what I was saying. If I plug a number in for x, the first thing I do is multiply. So 11 times 3 is 33. And then the next thing I would do is subtract. 33 minus 4 is 29. 29 equals 29, so I must have had the right answer. Looking at part B, we've got a plus 7 divided by 8. Let's look at our pizza. If I were to plug a number in for a, the first thing I would do is add 7. Okay? So I'm going to put addition as my sauce. And then my cheese would be dividing by 8. Because obviously I would add 7 and then divide by 8. So now, if I wanted to solve this equation, the first thing I got to do is get rid of the cheese. So I'm going to multiply each side by 8. So 8 divided by 8 would just give me 1. So these 8's cancel out because the inverse of dividing by 8 is multiplying by 8. So now I've gotten rid of my cheese. So I get a plus 7 equals 5 times 8, which is 40. And now I need to get rid of my sauce. How do I get rid of plus 7? Well, I'm going to subtract 7 from each side. So I get a equals 33. How would I check my answer? Well, I'd take my answer and I'd plug it back into my original equation. I'd have 33 plus 7 over 8 equals 5. 33 plus 7 gives me 40. And 40 divided by 8 gives me 5, which is what I wanted to get, which means I did the right work. Okay? Always think about if I plugged a number in for a, what would I do first? That's my sauce. What would I do second? That's my cheese. And then when you want to take apart your pizza, you got to take the cheese off first and then the sauce.